Yo, what is good, my fellow deadheads? Your overlord has returned with yet another JJK Fans Parade video. We are finally finishing up our tier list of all the different colors, talking about all of the units who are good and worth working on in each one of the colors, and all the ones who are, I guess we're not talking about the ones you shouldn't work on. We're just leaving them off the bottom of the list. So if you didn't hear me talk about a character in any of these tier lists whatsoever, then that is not a character that I would recommend working on. Even though I have worked on some of the characters that I didn't put on the tier list, but that was for different reasons, way back in the past, or for specific missions, stages, etc, etc. If you guys do enjoy these videos where I do go over these tier lists and talk about these characters and how great they are compared to each other, then you can go down below, you can leave a like, you can hit the subscribe, and you can hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the dead man decides to glide. And you can also comment down below and let me know what you wanna know. But that's gonna be it for you, boy. Wait, what? No, that's not going to be it for your boy. That's going to be the start for your boy. Let's get to this video. So guys, I tried to take another look. Honorable mentions just not looking too good to me in yellow. Yellow is a very slim pickings category. They have the lowest number of characters, firstly. Secondly, they well, I guess technically, yeah, I think they still have the lowest number of characters, I believe. I think the second lowest is like blue with 18 characters, or red with 18 characters, and then like yellow is sitting here at like 17, whereas green and blue is like in the 20s. But yeah, Inumaki is the only honorable mention I have here. He has like, I literally remember just seeing one day like a YouTube video that said that one skill Inumaki, and I'm like, yeah, Inumaki pretty much had like that one break skill, which like was good for break damage. But I mean, like, they don't really have a character that is like a meta relevant, just like straight up break unit, right? Megami is a break unit, but he's not that great. The blue one, the SP buff one, and then who else? Yellow Mekamaru, probably not that great of a breaker either. But you know, he is, hey bro, we got standard break units nonetheless, even though they're not meta. But I mean, like, hey, one of these, that's just an inkling showing that they will make good break units in the future. And I'm also still wondering, are we going to get defense as a stat ever? I see that they're doing a lot with like damage reduction and stuff like that now, which I think is starting to give, you know, defenders a very much clearer lane. But even still, I think that we are looking kind of rough right now for a few classifications of characters. But I mean, hey bro, they're trying, they're improving, they're getting better. So for number 10, we have Nobara. I'll be honest with y'all, Nobara is super out of date, super weak, does not do great damage. SP buff is like very like middling, if even. I mean, she didn't really get that much of a change, and honestly, we're at a point now where the change that she did get really just doesn't matter as much as it used to. She's just a very like piss poor DPS. I feel like I'm not trying to be, you know, a naysayer on Nobara, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, yellow has the lowest number of units, so it's just like, this is proof of it right here that Nobara is actually pretty bad. I think this is the first time that number 10 on the list is actually like just kind of bad in general, because number 10 for the green list was Mahito, who is solid. Number 10 for the red list was Red Yuji, who is solid. Number 10 for the blue list was Blue Maki, who is also just solid. So I feel like yellow is probably the first one where the first character is just not looking too hot. But I mean, that's clear sign right there that yellow might need work. We have a good DPS in like Shoko, or we have good DPSs, but did I say DPS? I meant to say we have a good support in Shoko and then good DPSs. But you know, we still need to definitely bring the plentifulness to the yellow section of the game. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to number 9. I'm gonna stop using Nobara as an anchor point to talk about how piss poor yellow is right now. Next character up is gonna be Yellow Nanami. Yellow Nanami, very basic, you know, DPS, definitely more reliable damage than Nobara. Also has no SP buff, so has a higher potential to be better than Nobara. Very simple kit, you know, straight up damage, not really much to write home about here. Certainly does have a lot of chances to hit Black Flash. with the black flash popping off, then all of a sudden the damage is looking a lot better than Obara's. And Nanami and Yuji's are like just characters in general who can pretty consistently hit black flashes. So I say for Nanami's and Yuji that the black flashes are typically guaranteed, which means that extra damage on them is typically guaranteed. So he will clear Nobara in the list here. Number 8, we're gonna go for SSR Kaito, and I'm gonna go ahead. No, I'm not gonna go ahead and grab the next one because it's not rare Kaito, believe it or not. We're gonna go ahead and grab SSR Kaito. I have not had much experience with him. I used him very briefly on the Japanese version, and then I accidentally re-rolled that account. But basically, he is a DPS that is good for a mono yellow team, and he also does still have capabilities in his kit to help allies recover cursed energy. He just doesn't fully focus on recovering cursed energy. And honestly, the other Kaito didn't really focus fully on recovering cursed energy, but he just had that very good skill 3 of directly recovering cursed energy. So I give that Kaito a very big pass just because it's cursed energy. Rare Kaito's cursed energy production is just so much higher than this Kaito that I give that rare Kaito more relevance than this Kaito. But this Kaito can still be good and still be used for stages and tower just because, like I said, he is effective for yellow teams. Like, he makes yellow teams hit harder. He makes hit harder? Yes. Increases allies damage dealt. And then what else? Also decreases allies damage received. So he makes yellow units also take less damage as well. So I mean, like, and also can just increase their stats straight up. So Kaito is just really good for a yellow team. Does not have as much of a cursed energy battery capability like the original version of Kaito, but we still continue on. Number 7 is going to be Junpei. Junpei has some cheesy little strats to him, you know. He also has his decrease all allies damage taken by 20%, increases his own jutsu stat, which that one's not important, but attract all enemies attacks and then grant attack nullification to himself for 1 turn is really good. That skill is really great, and he just got an SP buff actually, so this skill actually has been buffed on the damage, so he has a little bit better of a DOT capability. His passives down here I don't think got buffed at all, but his skill 2 now actually gives 15% attack or jujutsu and taijutsu buff to the entire team. So just gave him a little bit extra capability as a buffer as well, but I'm pretty sure there's extra added on to this too. I think what it is that he grants attack nullification. He attracts all enemies attacks to himself for 1 turn, and then maybe he attracts the selected enemies attack to himself for like 2 turns or something. Or maybe I'm thinking of another character. Let me just pull up Discord real quick just to be safe. Unfortunately, these things are not on the wiki yet. I don't know what's been going on with the wiki. It's been taking a little bit of time to update, but nonetheless, we are going to trudge along and find this boy Junpei. Let's see. Grants attack nullification to self for 1 turn 1 time. Grants all enemies attacks to self 1 turn 1 or attracts all enemies attacks to self for 1 turn 1 time. Increases on jujutsu by 30%. Which is all the same. Decreases own damage received by 35% for 2 turns. So he gives himself damage reduction now in the event that he does get hit. Decreases all allies damage received by 20% for 2 turns, excludes himself. So now the ally damage reduction is for 2 turns instead of 1 turn. And then increases allies jujutsu and taijutsu stat by 15% for 3 turns, and that does stack. And grants stun immunity to the ally behind him for 1 turn as well. So just a lot more support on this skill. And like I said, the DOT on this skill is better. And honestly, I was giving Junpei the benefit of the doubt just because of the attack nullification. But now that the attack nullification is better and also doubles as a buff for your entire team, I just got to give it to him even more so for that. Number 6 is going to be that boy, rare Kaito Yuki. And for very obvious reasons. Now, like I said, Yuki is a rare character. He has really bad stats. He can get hit really hard, very easily, very early. But that does not refute the fact that this man can make all allies recover 19 cursed energy for 2 turns. If you let Yuki sit for the first turn and just use his basic skill and save his cursed energy, you can literally do this skill 2 times back to back, and you can make your entire team gain 38 cursed energy for a turn, just like automatically, bro. It's insane. But like, yeah, turns like that are really crazy because you're like really early on in the fight and you're just sitting there like, dang, well, I can do whatever I feel like now. Like, which way do I want to move? You know what I'm saying? Like, this man Yuki makes you all powerful. And not to mention that his ultimate literally increases all allies' Jujutsu stat by 128.7%. So if you're not using a team that is highly dependent on Taijutsu, Yuki is still going to be a very strong choice because he can give everybody 128.7% boost to their Jujutsu stat for 3 turns as well. And that's really crazy when you consider something like, okay, using Blue Gojo to nuke and giving him his own buff 2 turns back to back and then using his ultimate. Imagine using Gojo's buff 2 times and giving him basically 250% extra damage dealt, and then literally just dropping this alongside his ultimate. Not to mention that with Kaito, I like to use perfect synchronization, which is an SR recollection bit that gives you 35%, or it gives all allies 35% extra damage dealt whenever they do their ultimate. So it's just like, Kaito just makes a lot of sense for a very good supporting option. And again, like, he can really just keep your cursed energy topped out to a crazy level. Like, his cursed energy is not going to be topped out, but I mean, like, everybody else's is. And he also has a damage reduction skill for his skill too. Now, one thing that I wish they would do is SP buff rare and SR characters, because JJK is the odd game where rare and SR characters are still strong in the game a year, 2 years in. So I really wish they would give SP buffs to SR and rare characters, because they could literally just make this a AoE, you know, buff. Like, quite literally, if this just turned into an AoE buff, and this just got rid of self-excluded, quite literally, those 2 changes alone would make this Kaito busted, because all of a sudden he's a defensive support and also can give himself cursed energy to just keep spamming his shit up, and it wouldn't even be too overpowered because you still got to choose in between the 2, and plus he's a rare character. Like, how bad is it that he gives himself cursed energy when all he's doing is just giving more cursed energy to people? But with Kaito discussed, we are officially breaking the top 5, so let's go ahead and get over to it and kick it off. So for number 5, we got this boy, SSR Yaga. SSR Yaga is just a really good buffer. Like, okay, if we come down here and look at his auto skill, the reason why he's so good is because this right here, the red Yaga, when you get his buff skill all the way to level 10, the buff that he is giving his team is 45.8% extra Jujutsu and Taijutsu stat to the entire team. But if you use red Yaga, you can stack that buff up to 3 times, or honestly up to 4 times. It just depends on if he's in the front of your team, and then on the 4th turn that you use it, uses attack skill to everybody. Then technically, yes, you could stack it 4 times. But this Yaga, in exchange for stacking this crazy stat buff, which he just has always guaranteed, instead he just has really good debuffs in his kit. This skills debuff is really, really insane. Deals 100% taijutsu damage to the enemy, or I'm sorry, 150 taijutsu damage to the enemy. Inflicts darkness on the enemy. Increases the selected enemy's taijutsu and jujutsu damage received by 30% for 2 turns, or for 3 turns, I'm sorry. And then increases the selected enemy's taijutsu and jujutsu received by 16.5% for an additional 16.5% for yellow type attacks as well. Deals range combined damage equal to 150.4% taijutsu and jujutsu to the enemy. But he also ignores darkness when he's attacking, and honestly, this skill alone is like just like the one that kind of gets him this spot right here. Like, bro, do you see all this shit, bro? This is basically 47% debuff to the enemies if they are weak to yellow, and even if they are not weak to yellow, it is still a 30% debuff. I'm sorry, I was turning off the alarms on my phone that I set to wake up for this or the gym. I don't know, but yes, this alone is just really insane. This right here, let's see. Decreases the enemy selected taijutsu stat by 52.6%. Situational, but can be very, very powerful. Skill 1 even lowers enemies' critical hit resistance, which, hey, bro, bad debuff. I think critical hit resistance at such a low number is a really bad debuff in general. But I mean, as long as it's on the skill 1, I can't really complain. And then the ultimate also is just another really strong debuff. Does pretty solid damage too, but increases all enemies taijutsu and jujutsu damage received by 51.6% for 4 turns, effective for yellow types. Increases all allies damage by 30.2% as well. Yaga's just a really strong support, just really good. And I know I said I wasn't going to go over and read through these characters' kits, but I was a little brain dead just now whenever I pulled up Yaga, and I had no choice but to read through his kit because I couldn't really form a feasible argument as to why he is a good character, but he is a very good character nonetheless. Number 4, we got that boy Zonji. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Introducing the mechanic of zone into the game was really crazy, but I mean, a bunch of units have zone anyway. What makes Yuji crazy is the fact that he has 2 turns in one after he activates zone, and that's for like 3 turns, is it not? 2 turns, 3 turns. But either way, Yuji can put out some really stupid damage numbers with that, especially when you use the recollection bit play of the strong after he uses his ultimate. Because you got to think, play the strong gives you a crazy taijutsu buff for 2 turns, and if you use Yuji's ultimate and then use play of the strong and then attack 2 times in 2 turns, you're basically using play the strong for 4 turns right there, if that makes sense, if that tracks for y'all. But like, yeah, Yuji just hits stupidly freaking hard, and there are actually quite a few stages that require you to use not ranged but melee taijutsu skill, or not even taijutsu, but just melee skills, close range skills, or even, yeah, just taijutsu based skills. And then at that point, Yuji is going to be your clear contender, clear winner, and his damage is just good straight up. Like, it's not like he needs to be on a team where just yellow units are amplified. Like, no, Yuji is just an absolute menace, so no matter what, just really hard hitting. Would I say he hits as hard as Sukuna in most situations? Maybe not, just because Sukuna has so much DOT with him, but like, Yuji's probably outright impact damage is probably going to be stronger than Sukuna's. Number 3, I got Hidden Inventory Gojo, or the Strongest Blue Gojo, since there's 2 Hidden Inventory Gojos now. This Gojo takes the spot over Zonji simply due to the fact that he came out way earlier, so he's way, I won't say he's way easier for people to acquire, but he came out way long ago and has come back really often, and also is now a standard banner unit. So not only does that mean he's easier to acquire than Yuji, he came out before Yuji, so you literally just had a chance to get him before you even got Yuji, because he came out so far in advance before. And also, not to mention, that means you can pick up dupes for this man in the shop and just A5 him if you really needed to make him stronger. Like, say you're looking on the internet for a guide on how to beat a stage. It would be much better if this Gojo were in the team versus Yuji, because Yuji, you can't just go to a shop and buy copies of him. Yuji, you can't just go summon on a banner for him. Gojo, you can do both of those things. You can go in the shop and buy dupes of him if you want to. You can go summon on the banner for him if you want to, all right now. So Gojo is going to clear for that reason. And also, he has a really solid buff in his kit. His damage is still really good to this day. And he is a rare case of a Gojo who can stay in the battle and does not leave at all. So definitely got to give him really big points for that alone. Number 2 is going to be Shoko. Shoko was literally just a must summon that came out recently. Like, she was must summon. She is necessary for the tower in a bunch of different ways. She has a debuff on her skill 1, which I will never scoff at. This skill is really fucking crazy. It increases everybody's stats, but also makes the enemy take extra damage received. And I didn't even know the damage received that they were taking was so low, as low as 15%. But like, I didn't even know, well, I didn't know that the buff was here. I didn't know that the buff was that high, but with the buff being this high, this can be low, right? This is when this is okay. This is okay to be a low number when you got a big number right beside tacked on the same skill like this. This is perfectly fine. What else? This right here increases all allies damaged up by 45% and increases all allies ultimate gauge charge rate by 30%. Didn't even know that. Like I said, bro, sometimes I get new characters and don't even work on them instantly. I work on them down the road because I already have a chain of command that I'm doing things in. But I mean, this Shoko also has a heal. Obviously, is Shoko. Shoko's gonna be the only healer in the game. Her buff's really good. Like, honestly, bro, I did a floor on tower yesterday while I was at work, or maybe 2 days ago, or before I went to work, or something like that. Recently, I did a tower floor, and I was using yellow Shoko. And when I was using yellow Shoko, I just didn't feel worried about my defeat. I didn't feel worried about my losing or anything. It was yesterday. I did a tower floor, and it had a secret floor, and I forgot to do the secret floor, do the requirement for the secret floor, which I was pretty upset with myself, because literally the requirement was to bring Nobata, but like, nobody in the front line died, so I literally could have just brought Nobata in the back line, and I just forgot to, literally. So then I get to the end of the mission, I'm just like, dang, I could have literally put Nobata in. So I literally ran the same team yesterday and put Nobata in, and like, it was just as easy as it was the day before. Like, Shoko puts the game on easy mode, bro. The heals are so good, the heals are so reliable, the buffs are so good. Like, Shoko just puts the game on easy mode. So 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. There's only one reason why she's not number one on this list, and that's because of who our number one is. Incomplete Domain Megami will destroy and break this game until the end of time. Bro, having a skill that makes enemies take an additional 99.3% damage for 3 turns in your domain is crazy. Like, bro, Domain Megami will be relevant until the end of time, more than likely. I cannot think of a time that he will not be relevant. Literally, his skill 3 and his skill 2 don't even matter that much. What does this do? Chance to stun the enemy, just increase the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received. Oh, okay. So that's good. I didn't know that this made the enemy take extra taijutsu damage specifically, but I think I'd rather just make the enemy take more damage received in general. But yes, no, the domain is absolutely incredible. Increases all enemies damage received by 45%. I didn't even know that that was a base domain effect in general, but like, okay. So enemies already take more damage when the domain pops, and then you can make them take an additional 200, or no, it's like nearly 100%. So then you can make them take like an additional 300% damage over the 3 turns. And the nice thing is, after the domain is gone, like this debuff is still up there, right? And it's slowly, you know, obviously 2 stacks of it is up there, and then the next turn 1 stack, and then the next turn is gone. But even still, is there after the domain is gone, which is really, really nice. This just makes it very easy to destroy a lot of stages. Like, bro, using Domain Gojo and Domain Megami like in combo just clears a lot of stuff, destroys, demolishes, breaks a lot of different things in the game. But Domain Megami has been kicking it, has been the king of yellow, honestly, since the beginning of fucking time. Does not matter how many DPSs that are coming out, like, they're not looking their mightiest without this man. And when this man gets an SP buff, oh my god. I keep saying that SP buffs are cool, and we keep getting SP buffs on all these DPS characters or all these useless characters. When we start getting when we start getting SP buffs on actual supports or the characters who are the kings of the game already in the first place, that's when the game is really going to transform and change for the better. But guys, that is going to be it for the tier list. If you guys did enjoy the tier list, then you can go down below. You can hit the like, subscribe, get notified. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the dead man decides to glide. And you can also comment down below and let me know what you want to know. I'm so sorry. I do love y'all Magic Knights, but I am going to have to rush off at the end of this video here because my guts are getting kind of grumpy and I got to run to the bathroom. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys and gives you an idea of who you should be looking at working on. And I will post this tier list on Twitter separately just to make sure that everybody can see it in another space. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and even if you didn't, who cares? But you guys have an excellent day. Peace.